Cavs have also been on a winning streak as well too. They didn't quite meet the criteria for the 40-20 rule, but the 39-20 right now. We were talking about dark horses last time. I mean, do you think the Cavs can be a legit threat, or they're kind of like what you said earlier as well too, where it's like you see these top seeds every year, but when the playoffs come, nah, not really. What are your thoughts on the Cavs?
I think that the Cavs are they're I think they're another like we're in a point where like it's a lot of young teams, right?
Hella young
And
teams, yeah.
a lot of these young teams like they get to the playoff, and we're also in a weird point where a lot of the old heads are still kind of in their primes, or at least very
Yeah,
close to it.
yeah,
And like a lot of times we get into the playoffs and that experience starts to matter. So like last year in the playoffs, the Cavs got out in the first round, I think, and they were like a top. They were definitely like a top 4 seed. I'm pretty sure.
they lost to the
They
Knicks, right? 4 or 5 seed Knicks and
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Knicks and
Like, and
Cavs, yeah.
they were a good team, and like it, and the Knicks suck. I mean, like they made it to this. They because they lost in the second round last year, right? They didn't
They
even,
lost
yeah,
to Miami Heat.
exactly. So, and I'll say more so the Knicks suck in the playoffs, mainly because Julius Randle sucks in the playoffs. I love Jalen Brunson; he always plays great. But yeah, the Cavs to me just don't really instill any fear. Donovan Mitchell is like
You know he's gonna get, but
he's gonna
the
go
others, right?
potentially. Well, I'll say this also: he didn't really go off last year. I think that was also part of why they got beaten 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
But even when he was going off with the Jazz when they were like the 1 seed and stuff like that, they
Mm-hmm.
never really went that far.
Yeah,
Darius Garland is like
undersized.
very that well. I mean, he's a guard, so it's not that bad. But it's more so the fact that Donovan Mitchell is undersized, and that's your starting backcourt. But
That's
Darius
right.
Garland is just proven to be a little bit inconsistent right now in the regular season, so I don't know how that'll
Right.
carry over to the playoffs. Mobley's still super young.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Levert's kind of inconsistent. You would think with all his skill sets, he'd be that bona fide, like how Jordan Clarkson was at 6 man a year like that, but he's kind of inconsistent for me.
yeah,
Max
yeah,
Struess, we'll see. Isaac Okoro, yeah, like I
yeah.
said, I don't fear him. I
I
don't fear
don't.
no one.
They're just they're a good team, but
Mhm.
they're not a team that I feel like has a shot at honestly even making the conference
So you
finals.
feel like through this 2 year window with Donovan Mitchell that we've seen so far, they've reached their ceiling already.
No, because I do think that Mobley can get better.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Mobley can get better, and I think that Garland, he's still young. He can potentially like carve out a more consistent
Yeah,
role, but I think they also just don't have a lot of time because it seems like Donovan Mitchell doesn't want to be there.
that boy
Is
gonna
everything
go.
that we're hearing?
He
Yeah.
gonna go.
So
Do you think Garland and Mitchell, because they need the ball in their hands so much, they kind of take away from Mobley's growth? I mean, he's still been improving every single year, but do you think they take away from him?
yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those things. There's not as many shots to go around when you have a 30 point per game score and then another 20 point per game score.
Mm-hmm.
Then you also have who's their three?
Isaac Okoro, sometimes Max Struess are kind
Oh
of back
yeah,
and
Max
forth.
Struess. They've been doing a lot. Yeah, that, and then you also have Karis LeVert coming off the bench with the ball in his hands a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always that, but I still think that you can grow within that.
Yeah.